Good evening, geographers, and welcome to our live stream on GCSE AQA Geography for 2026. We've got our exams approaching very quickly. How many weeks is it now? 5 weeks, I believe. 5 weeks. 13th of May is what we're excited for. So you come to the right place. We're going to prepare today. We're going to look at question 4 of paper 1. UK rivers, and we're going to go through all the content we think is going to be on the exam this summer. So you're in the right place. Let's have some fun. Let's do some revision. Hopefully you've got your revision book ready. You've got your notes, you've got your pad, your paper, your pencils, your pens, all that good stuff ready to start today's revision. And at the end, we always have a little quiz to see how well we've done and see if we know, all the stuff that we need to be covering. So have you got everything you need? A pen? Yeah, make sure you got a pen. I always have a highlighter because obviously there's lots of keywords in geography. So we use a little highlighter as well, just to highlight those, make those stand out. We've got our ruler. So make sure you got a ruler. There is a couple of bits of tables in this one that we're going to go through. So make sure you got a ruler. And also you can't be without your coloured pencils if we do any diagrams, especially in rivers. Lots of diagrams, one of my favourite topics. Lots of diagrams to draw, lots of processes going on. It's fantastic, your little fantastic topic. And yeah, you'll need some colours for today's session. So say hello to us in the chat. Who's with us? Yeah, say hello. I'm sure the chat and the live streams are going to get much busier as we get closer to the exams. If you like this video, not that we started yet, but if you like this video, check out the other videos on the channel. We've done a live stream for natural hazards, living world, coasts. Yeah, check out the back catalogue on the channel as well. There's lots there for you to look at and get you ready for your exams. The best thing to do for your exams is make lots of notes. Yeah, make lots of revision notes and then try and learn them. Keep looking at them. Keep recapping the stuff that you need. So let's have a little look. We've got Fred. Thanks for joining us tonight, Fred. Say hello. Hiya. We've also got Maddie. Thanks for joining us, Maddie. Nice for you to drop by. Lovely to see you. Cody is also here as well. Thanks, Cody. Thanks for dropping in and watching tonight's live stream. Good to see you. Mr. Chomp is in again. Very good. Welcome back. All the regulars from earlier on. And Kahinde, yes. Thank you for reminding me, Kahinde. Good to see you. Thank you so much for dropping in on tonight's live stream. Yeah, we're going to go through a few key things. Erosional processes and transportation of sediment in rivers. We're going to look at the changes to a river downstream. We're going to look at meanders and oxbow lakes and levees and estuaries. And then we're going to finish off by looking at hard engineering, river management, because we think all of these are more likely to be on your exam paper this summer, 13th of May. That's when it is, 13th of May. This section is question 4, and it's the last section of the exam. It's 15 marks. It should take you 15 minutes to complete your rivers questions. Yeah, only 15 minutes on this section. It's quick fire. So I think we're ready to go. Are you ready in the chat? Got your revision notes ready? Okay, let's get on to this then. Right, I'm just going to share my screen with you guys so you can see. Hopefully, there's my revision notes just below. There we are. Okay, very good. Hopefully, you've got your cup of tea at the side or a coffee or a nice little drink to get you through. Oh, I do love a cup of tea. Yeah, I do love a cup of tea. It's also nice to be back after the holidays. I hope you had a great holiday as well and had a bit of a rest, but also managed to do some very good geography revision. Right, so here we go then. It is paper 1. So this is in your little notebook here. Paper 1, AQA, geography. And the content we're covering tonight will be on the 13th of May, 2026. And it is it's paper 1. Paper 1, question 4. Okay. UK rivers. Maybe just squeeze that in there as well. UK rivers. There we go. A total of 15 marks for this section. Okay. And we're going to go through everything that you must know. So over here, here we go. This is everything we feel you must know. Obviously, you revise everything for rivers. Must know in 2026. These are things that are more likely to appear. So our first one is river processes. We're going to go through that one tonight. The processes of erosion, transport, and deposition. So get your thinking caps on, guys, in the chat. They're the ones. Oops, sorry, guys. They're the ones that we're going to cover first. So do you know your types of erosion, transport, and deposition? Don't do it just yet. I can see people already getting excited. Hi, Corey. Thanks for dropping in as well on tonight's live stream. Appreciate that. Good to see you. So river processes, make sure you know those. Everything links to process. If you're talking about any landform, it links to process. Flooding links to processes. So these are fundamentals. At number 2, we're going to look at changes to a river's characteristics. Rivers. Characteristics. This is also a good revision for paper 3 if you've done rivers fieldwork, which my school have. We look at changes to the Carding Mill River downstream. So that kind of links into there as well. Mid and lower catchment landforms. So midsection and lower catchment landforms. Again, we're going to cover that today, but in your own time, with your own revision guides and things, go over these in particular. We're going to look at hard engineering, river management. Again, with these live streams, it's about you joining in the chat, getting involved, answering questions as part of your revision. Hard engineering, river management, how to reduce the risk of flooding. It's very hard to prevent it. It's a natural process, but how to reduce the risks. And one that we're not going to do today, but in our live stream next week, keep you coming along and joining, a case study on flood management. So you do need to know about a river that has flooded and what they've done about that management. The one that we look at my school is Boscastle or the Somerset levels. Boscastle or the Somerset levels are the ones that we cover at our school. Oh, Amelia. Oh, bless you. Thank you. You're so kind. I'm sure history's good. I love history. History is one of my favorite, and my son absolutely loves his history. He prefers it to geography. I don't know. I'm working on him. But yeah, history is cool as well. Right. So we're going to start with processes of rivers. So river processes. So we're going to start with erosion. Okay. So again, that's what my highlight is for. Hopefully you've got your revision notes there, your little revision book. So erosion is, in simple terms, the removal of rocks. In the case of rivers, by water. It can be by wind and other things, but for rivers, obviously, it's the movement of water moving the rocks. Obviously, if you've done coasts, it's the waves that remove the rocks. In rivers, it's the flow of the river that removes the rocks from the bed and the banks of the river. Okay, so we have 4 types of erosion. Hit us up in the chat, guys. Do you know the 4 types of erosion? Who know? Maddie's very keen. Maddie, you've jumped ahead. You're doing transport there. That's the transport of rocks. We need the 4 types of erosion. I'll let you come up with those. Ooh. And we have a winner. It is Fred. Well done, Fred. They are the 4 types of erosion by water. So these are the same for coasts as they are for rivers, exactly the same. So our first one is hydraulic action. This is a key one, hydraulic action, which is the force of the water as it flows. The force of the water trapping air in rocks. Okay. Which causes them to weaken over time and then be eroded. So every rock has minute fractures and cracks in there. The air gets trapped when the water of the river goes past very quickly. The force of the water traps the air in, and it causes these rocks to weaken over time. Hydraulic action is the force of the water, yeah. Especially where you've got a waterfall, where you've got water falling vertically, you've got a lot of pressure, a lot of water pressure. You have huge amounts of hydraulic action. So that's our first one. Next one, let's go in the same order as Fred here. Abrasion. Abrasion. So hydraulic action is the force of the water. Abrasion is where rocks slide or grind against the river banks and riverbed. And the best little term to remember is sandpaper action. Okay, so the rocks that are being transported in the river get dragged along the bed, get dragged along the banks, and that wears them away. A bit like using sandpaper, you're rubbing two surfaces past each other, they both wear down. The sandpaper wears down, and so does whatever you're sanding. Sandpaper action. So the rocks slide and grind past against the riverbanks and riverbed, causing sandpaper action. Right, next one is attrition. Attrition. Okay, this one quite simply is where rocks, let me just move you down a little bit. Attrition is where rocks collide together. So they collide together, making them smaller and smoother. So rocks collide together, making them smaller and smoother. Okay, this is attrition. Rocks being transported in the water collide and become smaller and smoother. And then solution is when you have basically rocks dissolve due to differences in pH. Yeah. So things like limestone, lime being alkaline. So the rocks in the area could be alkaline rocks. And then the river could be like slightly acidic due to pollutants. And that will then, over time, cause the rocks to dissolve. So if the river, say, is pH 6, which is only slightly acidic, but your limestone is pH 8, obviously you're going to get, over time, some dissolving of those rocks. So solution is where the rocks dissolve. Right, hit us up in the chat, guys. What are the three types of transport? Three types of transport. And this time, tell me what the differences are between them. So name them and give me a little explanation of what they are. And for this bit, I'm going to draw a little diagram. I'm going to call it transport of sediment. That's my little title for this. Transport of sediment. And I'm going to draw just a little diagram of our river. That's our riverbed. The riverbed is the bottom of the river. And we'll do a bit more of a visual one with this. So we've got, Maddie's right, traction and solution. There's actually 4 modes of transport. Traction roll. Okay, like tractor wheels. Yes. Well done, Maddie. So here is our large boulder. Yeah. And it rolls along the riverbed. It's called traction. Okay. So traction is where large rocks roll along the bed of the river or the seabed. Okay. Just move that out of the way. Yeah. So traction is where rocks roll, larger rocks roll. Let's put in brackets roll there, just so it helps with revision. Yeah, good. Because they're so heavy, they can't be lifted by the water. What else we got here? Solution. Sediment. Solution is where sediment's dissolved. Yeah, so let's have a little bit of that. So sometimes you see, especially those that live near the Trent, you'll see the water looks very dirty sometimes. It's very brown. That's the water. The rocks have been dissolved into the water. So we have got solution, which is the dissolved load. Yeah. In particular, things like clay that dissolves in water, and that will be present as well. Traction rolling on the bed. Well done, Fred. Saltation. Let's add that one in, Fred. That's very good. Okay, so saltation is where medium rocks, they kind of bounce. They're eroded, transported, and deposited very quickly. Okay, and they kind of bounce along the seabed or the riverbed. I keep saying sea and river because they're both the same, guys. Once you've learnt them for one, you just know them for everything. So we've got saltation, which is bouncing. To saltate means to bounce. Okay, so bounces along. The medium-sized rocks bounce along. Right, we're just looking for one more. Oh, we got here suspension. Yes. So well done to Cody. He said suspension. Fine sediment is in suspension, and it floats. So let's get that in there. So bits of sand and fine sediment. Yeah. It never touches the riverbed. Let me just move that. Yeah, it never touches the riverbed. It's suspended. So these is here. Let's put this in. Suspended load. Yeah, this is your fine sediment like sand is suspended. Okay, so there's our 4 types of transport. We've got traction, larger rocks roll. Saltation, medium rocks bounce along the riverbed. Fine sediment, such as sand and silts, they're suspended by the water. And then some rocks, like clay, are actually dissolved into the water as well. Okay, so absolutely brilliant, guys. Wow. What a clever bunch of geographers we have here today. Good. Right, there we go. That's our types of transport. So let's move on and look at how rivers change in a downstream direction. So I'm going to head my notes over this way now. I'm going to use this big space over here. You might want to find space in your notepad or notebook or whatever you're using. Let me just get that down there. Okay. So now we're going to look at changes to a river downstream. So let's put a little subhead in for that one. Here we go. Changes to a river downstream. So as a river goes downstream, what are we going to see in terms of its changes? So before you start spamming the chat, guys, which I know you'll be keen to do, I want to just create a bit of a table first of different features that we can describe. And then I'm going to talk about something that higher grade geographers might want to check out after this. So I want to look at, okay, I'm just going to draw a table for now. So I want a column for what was yours? Catchment. Let's call it the catchment. Okay. I want a column for the valley. Tell me what the valley's like. we want a column for the river channel itself, the actual river channel. I want a column for sediment, what the sediment is like in that section. And let's have one more column, which is going to be landforms that we find in that area of the river. Okay, so we've got quite a big table going on here, guys. Okay, there we go. So catchment area, we're going to start in the upper catchment. Okay. So you can now start to spam the chat. Okay, we'll start with the upper catchment. What is the valley like, or shape of the valley in the upper catchment? What's the river channel like in terms of its width and depth? What's the sediment like in the upper catchment? And what landforms, if I was out and about with my family or my dog, would I be able to spot in the upper catchment? So hit us up in the chat, guys. Wow, someone's really keen. Mr. Chompy, who's Mr. Chompy again? I've forgotten who you are. Who's Mr. Chompy? Is that Callum? Is that Callum? I don't know if it's Callum. Might be Callum. Tay, V-shaped valleys interlocking. Oh, you are good, Tay. Let's put that on there. Let's put that in the features then. So the valley shape is V-shaped. So let's get a little drawing in here. Yeah. Good. Tay, a question for you. So it's steep-sided, very steep-sided. It's narrow, and it's V-shaped valley. Yeah. Question for you is why? Yes. Kinde, well done. Why is it V-shaped? Why is it V-shaped? Okay, there's a question for those guys there. Why is the valley V-shaped in the upper catchment? I've given you a little clue with that little. Oh, it's Billings. Okay, Billings. Hey, Billings. Joe, good to see you, Joe. I knew Mrs. Chompy has been on before, but I couldn't remember who it was. Yes, well done, Joe. Okay, V-shape because of yes, good lad. So vertical erosion. Vertical erosion. So rivers in their upper catchment are high above sea level. They have a high amount of potential energy, which means that they can then erode vertically because of gravity. Gravity pulls them down and it helps them erode vertically. Right, I've got to pick out the bones here because there's some good things that we've picked out here. Let's have a look. So I want in the landforms then, I need interlocking spurs. Where you find interlocking spurs where there's V-shaped valleys, it's where the hills interlock because the river doesn't have the erosive energy to erode a straight line. It erodes around the headlands and creates these interlocking hills. So interlocking spurs, yeah. Waterfalls, let's put that in. Let me just remove this from the screen so people can see. Waterfalls, a gorge, yeah. Vertical sided valley. That's what a gorge is, a vertical sided valley. Interlocking spurs, waterfall spurs. Yeah, okay. And also the source of the river is there, where it starts. Yeah. The start of the river is also in the upper catchment. Right. Let's go to river channel. Did anybody talk about the river channel? Did the river is narrow and shallow. Okay, yeah, good. So river channel is narrow. It is shallow. It has a low velocity due to high levels of friction. Because there's lots of obstacles there. There's lots of rocks, high levels of friction from the bed and banks of the river. Now, I know you're going to say a waterfall, as it falls fast. A waterfall is a high velocity, but everywhere else along the upper catchment is generally low velocity. It has a low discharge. In simple terms, not much water. Yeah. So the river doesn't hold much water in that section. It has a low discharge. Okay. Okay, river channel we've done. River valley we've done. Okay, sediment. Did we get anything on the sediment of the upper catchment? Not really, I don't think. Okay, sediment is large, angular, generally things like boulders. Yeah. Large, angular boulders. Often a lot of the material is from, it's often weathered rocks. Yeah. From the valley side. So the weathered rocks from the valley side, they fall down into the river channel. In fact, let's put one of weathered rocks in there. Yeah. These large boulders and rocks, they fall down the side of the V-shaped valley and then they end up in the river. So often they're very large and angular and jagged rocks. Right, okay, so I'm happy with that one. Let's move on. Let's do the middle catchment. So, middle catchment then. I think Joe, because he's super keen, he's already done the middle catchment, but let's see what he's come up with. I'm just going to shift you down a little bit. Okay, middle catchment of a river. What's he put here? Floodplains. Let's add that one in then. Yeah, we find floodplains, areas of land that flood either side of a river, flat areas of land. If you live in Burton, most parts of Burton are floodplain on there, so that's good. What else we got? Meanders, yes. Meanders. Oxbow lakes, definitely. Oxbow lakes. We're going to look at those in a moment. Well, in about 5 minutes. Oxbow lakes. Okay. All right. So we might also find lots of tributaries in this section. Small rivers that join in. And we might also find a confluence where rivers meet another river, like a junction in a river. So we might find some of those. Right. What's the valley like? The valley is becoming wider and flatter. Okay. As the river gets wider, so does the valley. So there is our river. Let's just colour it in there. The valley begins to widen. Okay. We often find in the middle catchment slightly raised up areas. These tend to be called a river terrace. Yeah. So the edges of the valley is known as a river terrace. And then Burton, parts of Burton are very close to or on a river terrace. So those people that are from my school, you will know that Burton is on a floodplain, but the actual town of Burton is on a river terrace. Anyway, the valley widens. It also is gently sloping. Gently sloping. Okay, why is the valley wider here? Because we've got another type of erosion going on. Not vertical as much. We've now got lateral erosion, which is where rivers erode side to side. Yeah. Because they're getting closer to sea level, they might only be 100 meters or so above sea level. They do erode laterally or side to side in this middle catchment areas, especially where there are meanders. Okay, river channel then is wider and deeper. Why? This is because of erosion, basically. That's why the river gets wider and deeper, because of erosional processes. Rivers cut a channel to fit the volume of water that they, on average, kind of the average discharge, as it were. So however much water is, the river will cut a channel the size of to hold the volume of water. So yeah, the wider, they're deeper, the channel's deeper. Also, the just for my really geeky, maybe grade 9s, the channel roughness, how rough the channel is, also decreases, or it becomes smoother. So the sides of the river, the sides of the river become much smoother as well. Okay, as you go down, let's just get rid of that comment there. They get much smoother. All right. So wider river, deeper river, erosional processes are making it wider and deeper, and the channel roughness is also there. The sediment is getting smaller and rounded and smoother. Things like pebbles and sand. Yeah, much smaller, maybe more so pebbles. Yeah. So these rocks have been in the water a lot longer. They're also getting a lot smoother. Okay, there we go. There's our pebbles. Right. Let's go on to our lower catchment then. Oh, we didn't say about velocity and discharge here. Let's put that in there. So there's an increase in velocity. Flows quicker in the middle catchment because there's more water, and we just said the channel is smoother as well. So the channel is smoother, so there's less friction in the channel, and also there's an increase in discharge of the river, the amount of water. The volume of water increases in the middle section. And that is because the tributaries bring more water from other rivers and put it in this river. Okay, so the tributaries of the Trent add more water, and that obviously increases the discharge or the amount of water in the river. Right, let's go on to that lower section then. Here we go. So hit us up in the chat, guys. Lower catchment of the river. Oh, it looks like Joseph is on it tonight. Thank you, Joseph. Lower catchment then. So let's have a quick look then. We have high velocity of the river, high flow speed, and discharge. Okay, so we've got high velocity and high discharge in this section of the river. Let's have a look at the valley. What did you put, Joseph? The valley is wide. Yeah. The river valley is very wide and very flat in the lower catchment. It's almost at sea level. You're talking less than 50 meters above sea level for most of the lower catchment. So, yeah, the valley is wide. It's flat. It's extensive. Okay, lots going on there. Extensive just means it goes on a long way. It's very wide. Okay, river channel itself is wide and deep. Okay, it gets wider, it gets deeper, the river channel for this particular section. Nothing else to be really said about that. Here we've got fine sediment. So the rocks get smaller due to erosional processes, hydraulic action, abrasion, attrition, and solution. All the ones that we mentioned earlier in our live stream. So we get fine sediment, usually sand, silt, or even clay, which is the finest type of sediment. Clay is very coagulated, it sticks together basically. It's very fine. So yeah, sand, silt, and clay. And features, what do we get here? Ooh, no features you've put on there. What features do we find? They rhyme. Large, sharp. Yeah. Well, what else? Okay, brackish water. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Right. What do we find in the lower catchment? We find. Ooh. Cody. Yes, good one. Yeah, this fine sediment, which is normally a mix of sand, silt, and clay, is often known as alluvium. Well done, you. And I can't fit it in, so I'm going to put it up here. It needs to be in the sediment thing. Alluvium. In fact, let's highlight that. Very fertile, nutrient-rich deposits. When a river floods, it deposits alluvium. Very good. I like that plane, by the way. I don't know what that's all about. Very good. I don't know if have you flown that plane? Let us know in the chat. Okay, landforms are levees, mudflats, estuary, and the mouth. You might also find a delta in some rivers around the world. River delta might be there. Okay, but these are generally the features you find in the lower catchment. Okay. So there you have it. Okay, right, let's go to the grade kind of 5+, which is well worth a little check out. Oops, let's just zoom me back in again. If you're not familiar with this. So check out and maybe revise something called the Bradshaw model. Okay, something for you to have a little look at. Again, for the higher grades, it's linked to changes to a river downstream. So it teaches you how a river changes downstream and what we can expect to see. The plane is a photograph I took while at Tate & Lev. Wow, it's cool. Yeah, I do like that. Cool picture. Right, I think we've done with that section. So let's have a little look at meanders, oxbow lakes. Let's have a quick look at estuaries and levees. And then we'll start to wrap things up with a bit of flood management. Okay, so there we go. That's our, oh, that looks fantastic, doesn't it? Our first set of revision notes for the 2026 exam. Right, let's move that to one side, guys, for now. And I want to look at meanders. Okay, so I've got a sneaky suspicion that middle catchment river landforms is going to be likely to be on your exam. So find another little bit of space in your revision notes. And here we go. So if it asks you to explain, it usually will say explain the formation of middle catchment landforms. Okay, so these are things that are in the midsection of rivers. Okay, right. Can you hit me up in the chat, guys? What do you remember about meanders? What can you remember about meanders? Anything? Features, velocity. What happens when water goes round the bend? So a meander is, let's just put that in there, a bend in a river, which sounds pretty boring. Oh, it's just a bend. It is just a bend, but it's quite exciting because lots of things go on a as water goes around a bend. Lots of things can be seen. So, what can you remember about meanders? Give you a minute just to add to the chat. What can you remember about meanders? Next time you're out and about walking, guys, near a river, check out these features. Meanders. Oh, let's have a look. Meanders form in the middle catchment. Yes, they form because of erosion and deposition. Spot on. The water takes the path of. That is very good. In fact, I'm going to steal that. Yes, let's steal that. Okay, so it goes well with this diagram. Okay, I don't know if you can see what I've done here. So this is like a top view of our river. So this is our river channel here. Okay. And we have deeper sections called pools, and then we have shallower sections called riffles. So this is a riffle. The shallow area of the river is called a riffle. The deeper areas are called pools. And basically, the water will go along the path of least resistance. So the deeper areas, the pools, is where we get the fastest flow. So here we go. We'll put the red on there. This has got the highest velocity and highest rates of erosion. So where the water is deeper, there is less friction. And basically then the water will follow that path across the deepest pools where there's the highest velocity and the highest rates of erosion. And I love that, the path of least resistance. Well done. Well done. Very impressive. Okay, the path of least resistance. Oh, sorry, guys. Just realised it's not on the screen. There you go. So the water will follow the deepest areas of water, the deepest area of the channel, and follow the path of least resistance, where there's the lowest amount of friction. Okay, let's have a look what else we've got then. The velocity depends on the depth. The deeper the water, the faster the velocity. Yes, this causes more erosion on that side of the river. Yeah, and that's where we get the formation of a meander. So over time, where this fastest flow is, yeah, we start to then, if we're to kind of move it forward, yeah, it starts to shape like this. Where the pools is, we've got erosion here, yeah, where the fastest flow is, we've got the erosion. We've got erosion here, and we've got erosion here, look. And it now starts to shape. Yeah, if I make this, I've got another colour in, purple maybe. Oh, sorry guys, I'm getting excited about this. Throwing the pen. Let's put that in there. Yeah. So this purple line is where the river channel will be, the position of the new river channel in the future, because we've got deposition here and deposition there and erosion there. It starts to bend. Look, that's how our meanders form. Okay. They follow the path of least resistance or lowest friction. Yeah, the water flows fastest where there is the lowest friction. Right, let's draw a cross section of a meander. Wow, Joseph is writing lots here. Let's have a look. Water takes a path of least resistance, causing a path not to be straight. Correct. Well done, you. A river cliff. Yes, we're going to mention and slip off. Yeah, okay. Let's get on to that then. That's fantastic, Joseph. Really good. Sediment deposits on the inside. Yes. Absolutely awesome. So here we go. Meander cross section. Now, in your exam, you might only have 4 or 6 marks. It'd just be lines. If you need to draw a diagram like this in your exam, you can draw it over the lines. Okay, you can get full marks for an annotated labeled diagram. You don't have to always write for these types of questions. So let's get our river cliff on. Inside. There we go. So this is the cross section of our meander. This is the inside on this side, inside. And this is the outside of the meander. Okay. Let's put the bank in. That's the inside. It's a cross profile basically, so it's like a slice through the river, as you can see here. Yeah. Let's put our river in. Up to there, because I want to put a bank in actually there. Of sediment. Okay. So we can start to add a few features to our river channel. So here is the river cliff. River cliff, which is a steep sided bank on the outside of a meander. It's a steep sided bank formed by erosion, such as abrasion, hydraulic action. Yeah, let's put some little cracks in there where the water's really attacking that outside bank, causing it to be very steep-sided. Okay. Here we've got the fastest flow on the outside. Okay. Zone of highest velocity. It's where the water flows the fastest in this area. You may have noticed that I've put it below the surface. So obviously the wind will slow the water down on the surface, but also it's in the deepest section of the river. So where there is lowest friction levels, maybe just put least friction. So it's the furthest from the banks, it's furthest from the beds, and it's below the surface. Zone of highest velocity. And in this area, we're going to have erosion. Okay, lots of erosion on the outside. Okay. Now, just to make it clear, what tends to happen is that water moves in an orbital motion. Okay. So the rocks that erode on the outside then get deposited on the inside of the meander. And this is called helicoidal flow. Like a helicopter, it rotates, corkscrews its way. The water's corkscrewing its way around the meander. It erodes on the outside, deposits on the inside. On the inside here, we've got our slip-off slope, which is a zone of deposited rocks. Okay, it's a bit like a mini little beach area. That's what that is. It's a zone of deposited or deposition. There we go. That's our slip-off slope. And here we've got the zone of lowest velocity. Yeah. There's lots of friction on the inside. There's lots. The water's not very deep. Okay, so we've got low velocity on the inside, so we get lots of deposition. Yeah, maybe I can put it here. Look. Zone of deposition on the inside of the bend. So you get lots of deposition on this inside of the bend because the river's moving really slowly. It deposits its sediment. Okay, so we get a zone of deposition. Okay. I think that's pretty good there. Let's add a little bit more detail, just briefly. Over time, this meander is going to be eroding in this direction here. Okay, obviously it's eroding on the outside and depositing on the inside, so it's going to be shifting in this direction towards, in this case, the left-hand side. This is called meander migration. So let's put a little key term in here: meander migration. Over time, 50, 100 years, meanders migrate across the floodplain. Okay, so over time, meanders will migrate across the floodplain, and it's called meander migration. There we go. Right, I want to talk about, let me just double check my things. Okay, I've put here actually as well in my little notes, I've put, this is happening on floodplains such as the washlands in Burton. So you find meanders in the washlands in Burton upon Trent. We'll use our little local case study because we're right next to the third largest river in the UK. Washlands on Burton upon Trent. We find meander migration. We find all of these features of meanders absolutely in that area. One thing we don't find, though, is oxbow lakes. So what do you know about the formation of oxbow lakes? I think this is highly likely to come up in 2026. What do you remember about how oxbow lakes are formed and what an oxbow lake is? Who can hit me up in the chat? I'll give you a couple of minutes whilst I just go over to this side of this paper. Oxbow lakes. Let's have a little look at you. Oxbow lakes are found in the middle catchment. In fact, let me just go back to floodplains, actually, just briefly, because I've put floodplains here. Floodplains are, floodplains are areas of land that flood seasonally. So they will flood pretty much every year. They're designed to flood every year. Floodplains are formed by meanders. Are formed by meanders. As they migrate across an area, they will create a floodplain. And also, floodplains are very good for a few things. Number one, reason why humans love floodplains is they are good for agriculture due to the alluvium, which is very fertile, alluvium deposits. And also, they are very good for urbanization because they're very flat. Floodplains are flat areas of land near water, so they tend to promote urbanization or towns, cities, things like that, which obviously that's one of the problems that we come to later. We live on floodplains and then we're impacted by floods. Well, if you don't build on floodplains, you don't get affected by flooding. So that's the problem. But anyway, urbanization and agriculture. Floodplains are a key feature of our middle catchment. So Oxbow Lakes. What do we know about Oxbow Lakes? What have we got in the chat? Swan's Neck. Yes, well done, Joseph. Yeah, sediment is deposited, causing the curve to become more exaggerated, eventually forming a swan's neck. Over time, continues straight path during a flood. Eventually, the deposit remained. Well done. Right, okay. So here we go then. Oxbow Lakes. Okay, Oxbow Lakes are horseshoe-shaped lakes formed when an old meander is cut off during a flood. So they are horseshoe-shaped lakes. They look like, I'm sure you've seen horseshoes, or have you? I don't know. They look that sort of shape, like a horseshoe. Yeah, it's an old river meander that is cut off from the rest of the river system over time. Okay, so that's what we mean by Oxbow Lakes. So we'll draw a couple of diagrams. Let's get. Here we go. So this is diagram 1 in the sequence. We'll get our fastest flow on the outside. So this red line is the fastest flow. It's also where the erosion is. Yeah. So let's put obviously this is like a plan view. Add a bit of colour there, as you can see. That's our river. So let's just label the red line up. That's our fastest velocity or / zone of erosion. Yeah. Fastest velocity of zone of erosion. Yeah. So it's going to be eroding on the outside of the bends. Outside of the meanders. Okay. This area here in the middle, this is the Swan's Neck. the Swan's Neck narrows due to erosion. Okay, so the Swan's Neck, which is the bit in the middle, narrows due to erosion on the outside of those bends, where meanders, or sorry, two meanders erode back to back, basically. Yeah, this meander here is eroding, and this meander here is eroding, and it's narrowing the Swan's Neck. Okay, and then over time, as you can probably imagine, during a flood, let's put the old meander back in. We can put you can see where it used to go. Yeah, that's the old path. But during a flood event, the river cuts a straight channel. Oops. There you go. During a flood event, the river cuts a straight channel through. There we go. And that will create our Oxbow Lake. There we go. So there is our Oxbow Lake. Oxbow Lake. I'm going to turn it so I can write this in. Yeah, there we go. So there is our Oxbow Lake. It's formed. So during a flood event, the river erodes a straight channel, cutting off the old meander. The old meander. Okay, there you go, guys. So that is our Oxbow Lake, and that is how it's formed over time. Erosional processes such as a hydroic action, abrasion, attrition. Let's get all those in here as well. So when you talk about this, you need to talk about hydroic action and abrasion. These are all key processes that form this. You can also mention things like deposition. Yeah. Because in this zone here, rocks are deposited. Yeah, in this area here. So there's lots of deposition that cuts off the old meander. Okay, we're going to finish off and do one more little bit, which is hard engineering. So this is going to be quite a quick section. I'm going to draw a little table down here of hard engineering. And then I think it's time for a quiz. Yes. And then we've done quite a lot of revision this evening. Thanks for joining us as well. Oh, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe and share. It helps the channel. It also helps to push it out to other geographers in the country. So what is hard engineering, guys? Hit us up in the chat. Who knows what hard engineering is? What is hard engineering management? Who can remember? Characteristics of hard engineering, flood management. And then we're going to draw a table again. So we're going to have strategy, advantages. Can you go back to floodplains, sir? I didn't catch it. Yeah, floodplains. Here we go. Floodplains are areas of land that flood seasonally. So they will flood. That's what they're naturally designed to do. The land will flood a couple of times a year. Floodplains are natural parts of river basins. So yeah, they flood seasonally. Floodplains are formed by meanders migrating across the floodplain. As meanders erode laterally, lateral erosion. In fact, we maybe should put up here actually, lateral erosion. As meanders erode laterally, side to side, let's highlight that actually, there you go. As the meanders erode laterally, they create a wide, flat floodplain. So that's what they do. There we go. Floodplains are very good for agriculture because of the alluvium and urbanization. We love to build on floodplains because they're flat, they're areas of land that's easy for development and building. Sorry, I'm just looking what's going on outside the window. Okay, all right, let's go on to this last section then. So, strategies, advantages, disadvantages. Let's have a little look. Disadvantages. Let's get that one in there. And we need some examples. There we go. So let's bob that down there. Okay. So let's have a look at hard engineering then. So hard engineering, what do we know about it? They are man-made river defenses, structures, which are usually made of concrete, metal, wood, things like that. They tend to be very effective at flood management. Very effective, but can be quite costly. Yeah, so they can be quite costly. They do tend to do a very good job at managing the river effectively from flooding. And they're also made of man-made structures, right? So we're going to go for 4 different strategies. Number 1 is dams and reservoirs. Yes, paper 3 this year is all about whether we build a new reservoir. So dams and reservoirs. Okay, who can tell me an advantage, a disadvantage, or an example of a dam and reservoir system in the UK? So dams and reservoirs is going to be our first one. That's where we build a wall across a river. So a dam is a concrete wall across a river. There we go, there's our little dam, which then behind it forms the reservoir. We're going to do embankments. Embankments, which are raised banks. So we can raise up the banks, making them higher. So if our river floods, what you can do is you can make your banks higher. Which then prevents them from flooding. There we go. That's our embankments, our raised banks. Put our river in. So a river that regularly floods, what you can do is you can build up the banks either side to make them, make it so it's got a greater capacity to hold water. You're welcome, Cody. You're more than welcome. Right, and we're probably going to do one more. Let's do channel. So we can do channel straightening, straighten the river channel. Or diversion, diverting the water to another part of the river system. So we've got these 3 types of hard engineering. What have we got? So advantages of dams. They can create a water source. Create a water source in the sense of a reservoir. We can use them for hydroelectric power. HEP is one use of our dams. We can create hydroelectric power. And the main reason why we build them is they control, so this wall, this barrier here, can control a river's discharge. And obviously, if you can control how much water is in the river, you can reduce the flooding. So it creates a water source. It can create hydroelectric power, which is sustainable, green, clean energy, and it can control the river discharge, which therefore reduces flooding. Disadvantages of dams and reservoirs. They are costly. They're very expensive to build. We tend to have a loss of habitat because of the obviously building the dam and the flooding, loss of habitat and farmland flooded as well when we build our dams and reservoirs. Okay. I should have mentioned as well, tourism is a major positive. I should put tourism in there as well. People like to go and visit dams and reservoirs to take pictures, go for a walk, all that kind of good stuff. It does promote tourism as well. So our example of dams and reservoirs is in Wales. You could use Wales. And the place in Wales is called Elidir 4. Lots of dams and reservoirs there. It's also known as Electric Mountain because there's so many dams that are generating electricity. The Welsh have nicknamed it the Electric Mountain, which is very, very, very good for hydroelectric power. There you have it. Right, we're almost at our quiz, guys, so I hope you're tuning in for the quiz. Let's go to our last two things here, embankments. What's good about embankments? They reduce, in fact, all of these do, but reduce the risk of flooding, reduce flood risk, which is good. What else is good about the embankments is it can create new areas for walking and tourism. New pathways for leisure. So things like walking, you can walk on the raised banks either side of the river. You can walk along them. Nice little areas, footpaths and things like that. Okay, disadvantages tend to be again quite costly. When we build them. And also, one of the things that people don't like about them is they block the view of the river. So they can block the view of the river. It just kind of hides the river. It doesn't look natural. Maybe I can put that there, unnatural. They can look, yeah, you can't see the river because it's got these raised banks either side. It's not quite as appealing. Our example of this is Branston near Burton. Branston near Branston Golf Course. You guys in the chat will probably know where I'm talking about. Branston Golf Course. They've built some embankments there to protect the A38 and 4,000 homes. Oh, we do love facts in geography. If you know your facts, you're going to do very well. Okay, so yeah, they built these raised banks and it's cost them £30 million to build these embankments in Burton upon Trent, and they go on for 3.7 kilometres. The embankment is about 3.7 kilometres. It runs from the centre of Burton all the way to the southern end towards Branston and the rural urban fringe. So there you go. Nice little facts about embankments, raised banks either side. Right, the last one is where you make the river straighter or you divert the water away from a town into areas of low value farmland or things like that. So let's have a little look at this one then. Advantages again, it reduces flood risk. It reduces flood risk, which is good. It can also actually create new habitat. So in places like York, which is going to be our example, they let the water, they release the water from the ooze and then put it into farmland areas, create like wetland ecosystems. So that's pretty good. Countdown to the quiz. 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes to the quiz. What's the problems of straightening the channel? You increase the risk of flooding further downstream. So you reduce the risk where you straighten it, but then you just speed up where the water's going. So further downstream, you can actually increase the risk of flooding further downstream, which is not good. What's another problem of channel straightening? Okay, again, it can look unnatural. Yeah. unnatural, not as appealing because you're having to straighten the river. You can tell rivers that have been straightened, they don't look natural. And yeah, there's a lot of people, well, some people don't like them. Our example of this is the River Tees, but you could also use York as well. River Tees or the River Ouse in York have got channel straightening and flood relief diversion channels in those areas. Okay. Whew. Wow. Okay, as I said at the start of the live stream, guys, we have a case study as well to join us for next week. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Don't want to forget that one. Make sure you're here for our case study on river flooding. But look how much great revision we've done today. Thank you so much for joining us here on all the content that's most likely to appear in 2026 for question 4. But now is the time that you've all been waiting for. It's the Kahoot quiz. Yeah. So, can you join the Kahoot quiz? Hopefully you can. And check your knowledge. Let me just move my little this camera out of the way. I don't need that one anymore. Here we go. So, let me just get it fired up for you guys here. I'm going to disappear for a moment once this is on because you can't see all the questions when I do it. So, let's see what you can see at the moment. All right. Let's go here. Let's go here. Continue. Let me just get rid of that one. Remove. Yeah, I am going to disappear in a second. I will be in the background. You'll be able to screen stop screen share. Okay, I'm just getting the right screen up here. Choose game mode. Okay, right, here we go, guys. Start. Okay, let me disappear. So I'm in the background, guys, but you just want to see me on screen. So I can make the screen full page. There you go. So thank you for joining us on tonight's live stream. They are every Monday at 6 p.m. Join the fun. Thanks to everybody who has joined us. The people that joined the live stream last year and they came to every live stream achieved at least 1 grade, if not 2 grades higher than what they thought they were going to get. So they were really pleased in August last year. I think this is the 3rd year of the live stream. So yeah, you guys are the 3rd year. Oh, Eleanor's here. Hiya, Eleanor. You kept that quiet. She's been hiding in the background. Very good. Thanks for joining us, Eleanor. If you can hear me rattling around, it's because I'm... Sorry, sir, I've got to go now. I have lots of other stuff to do. Best of luck. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us, Cody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope it's fun. Is anybody else going to join the quiz? We've got more people in the chat. Is anybody else going to join the quiz? Jump on. Have a go. Just a bit of fun. Okay, I'm going to start it now then, guys. So here we go. Best of luck. Start. Which erosional process involves rocks that collide together, making them rounder, smaller, and smoother? Correct. Well done. Oh, thank you. Someone else has dropped in as well. Yeah, please drop in. Doesn't matter if it's already started. Just join in. A bit of fun, isn't it? A bit of fun here on YouTube. How does hydraulic action actively erode a riverbank? Correct. Yes, air is trapped in the cracks in the rocks. Well done. Thanks, Tam, as well, for joining in. Which transport process carries fine material within the water? Well done. It is suspension. Superb. Okay, number 4. According to the Bradshaw model, what decreases as you go downstream? Correct. Well done. That was the trickiest question so far, and you've all got it right, so well done. Yeah, the roughness of the channel, it gets smoother as the river goes downstream. Well done. You're all doing really well with your scores. Why does the average velocity generally increase downstream? Why does the average velocity increase? If you've joined us, still the little code is at the bottom of the quiz. Jump on. Doesn't matter if it's already started. Join in the fun. Correct. Well done. You guys are getting better at this. Number 6. Where is the fastest flow, what we call Falweg, located in a meander? Okay, I'm going to speed up. 3, 2, 1. Correct. Yes, on the outside of the bend is where we find the fastest flow. What feature is created by deposition on the inside of a meander? We've got loads of people in the chat, guys. Just drop in, join us. The pin's at the bottom. Doesn't matter if it's already started. You could do a little 10-minute revision, 5-minute revision. Superb. It's called a slip-off slope. That's it. Drop in, guys. Drop in. What specific event triggers the final formation of an oxbow lake? Well done. A flood, basically. Absolutely correct. Well done, guys. A flood. Superb. Number 9. How are natural levees formed along a river? Natural levees. These are natural raised banks. What creates the natural raised banks? Deposition of heavy sediment during floods. Yes, correct. Large sediment is deposited either side of the river. Number 10. What defines the environment of a river estuary? What features does a river estuary have? Yes, it has tides. It's tidal. Tam and Eleanor absolutely smashing it. Well done. 11. What is a major economic advantage of hydro? Oh, building a dam. Oh, dam. I think I've given you the answer. Yes, it generates hydroelectric power, which then you can sell to energy customers. What a significant social disadvantage of creating reservoirs. Oh, you should know this for paper 3. Yes, 50 families will be displaced by the Lincolnshire Reservoir. 50 families. That's paper 3. Good bit of revision there. 13. How does channel straightening reduce the local flood risk? If you straighten the channel, what does that do to the river? Well done. It gets the water quickly out of the area where it might flood, but maybe take it to an area where it will flood. So yeah, quite difficult. Next question is, what is a major disadvantage of channel straightening? What's the disadvantage of channel straightening? Yeah, we have mentioned this one. Well done, guys. Thank you. That's good. It actually causes other areas to flood. What is the main purpose of building embankments? Why do we build those raised banks, those man-made concrete banks? Correct for 2 people. It increases the amount of water or capacity that the river can hold. Well done. Number 16. What is a severe risk associated with embankments? Oh, I didn't mention this one. Yeah. Yeah, if you build embankments, this could be a big risk. Yeah, if they, oh, excuse me, if they breach or fail, yeah, you're going to get a huge amount of impact, flood damage. Okay, 17. What is the key benefit of flood relief channels? There is a picture of flood relief channel. It takes water out of the main channel. What is a key benefit? Split the scores, but whoever got blue, correct. Well done, Eleanor. 3 to go. Why might flood relief channels be very controversial? Yes, they're very expensive. They also do reduce the river's discharge. So whoever put green, that's also a correct answer. But yeah, it's mainly because they're expensive. Number 19, double points. How exciting can you get? Which erosional process involves rocks scraping like sandpaper along the bed and banks of a river? Get this right and you could win. Well done. Abrasion. Oh, everybody got it right. Usually double points as well. Let's end on a high. What happens to the shape of a river valley as it moves downstream? And everyone is right at the end. Oh, that will mean that in our bronze position is Fred. Thank you so much, Fred. You've smashed it tonight. Really appreciate you dropping in. Jones for revision. Tam, well done in silver. Really appreciate you. You got really good scores. And our winner in tonight's live stream is Eleanor. Superb, Eleanor. Smashed it there. Thank you for joining us for Geography Revision. Let me just drop into the camera just very quickly. Yes, thank you for joining us for Geography Revision this evening. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next Monday, 6 p.m, where we'll look at a river case study. Take care, everybody. See you in the next one.